Hey everyone, this is John. Welcome to the Golden Car Comics channel. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the video. I am showing off a Bombshell today. I've also got some eBay hauls, a back issue comic haul, and also this is a tag video. I've been tagged and I'm going to tag someone at the end of this. So if you want to see if you were tagged, just hang out to the end of the video and I'll make it as quick as I can, and we'll let you know. All right, so to start with, of course, we're going to keep showing off my bombshells. I've still got plenty of bombshells to show. And we have Zatanna. Woohoo! Little sign there, Zatanna. We have her little top hat. Oh, God, I hate when they have these little tiny pieces. But cigarette holder, cigarette. Let's see if you can see this from here. The tattoo on her chest. I'm not really sure what it says. So I'm sure it's something backwards I haven't read real closely. But she looks great. She's a great figure, great sculpt. Again, the makeup is perfect on her. We have a nice black corset with a white bow tie, shorts. She almost looks like, every time I see her, it looks like she's going to be like the master of ceremonies at a circus, the ringleader. The stockings look fantastic, gray, and they've got stripes carved in them. And, of course, we have John Constantine, cigarette, tie. Obviously, he's ticked off Zatanna one more time, and she has turned him into a bunny. We have some plumes of magical essence. We'll just call it magical essence back there, in gray and pink translucent plastic. And you turn her around. And they just did a great job sculpting this piece. You see the wisps of smoke here, the white thread in the stockings, her black high heels. Hear my X-Files going off on the phone behind me. Good grief. Her tails on her bodice there. Love the gloves with the little maroon stripe at the top. Earrings. They just do such a great job with these pieces. I love the Bombshell collection. Anyway, so there she is. There's Zatanna for my DC Bombshell video line. Moving on to my eBay hauls. I'm going to show you this. I've already shown it to you already, but I need to show you again because it's part of the story. So recently I just picked up this 1 in 25 variant of Harley's Little Black Book number 4. It is a Bombshell story, and this is the Bombshell variant with Harley with all the bombshells standing behind her. And while I was looking for that on eBay, because like I said, we've already seen this one, but while I was looking for that one, I found one that I didn't know even existed, and that is Harley Annual number 1. The Bombshell variant cover. I had no idea, and I found it on eBay, and I'm like, wow, that's exciting. And of course, this is the Scratch and Sniff special with the marijuana as part of it, because if you remember the original cover, there was marijuana, and then there was the no marijuana variant, and I have both of those. But this is actually a Bombshell cover variant that I had no idea existed. And I got all excited, so I bought it. And she's actually still in the original bag because the scented comics came in a bag. But I've put her in a new bag and board and still in her original bag as well. And the cool thing about this is that when I bought this, it was a bundle deal. And it also came with this, the original cover with the marijuana Scratch and Sniff. Is also still bagged. And I paid $9 for both books, and that's with shipping. I was just thrilled. I mean, I got a huge deal. Anyway, those just got here today, so I wanted to show those off to you. Now, a back issue comic haul was kind of fun. For whatever reason, my LCS has not got any new books in for the last couple weeks, but so I went through their back issue bin, and I found Frankenstein, Agent of Shade, number 1. That's just, I love the Universal monsters, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and so on. I've actually saw Frankenstein show up in the New 52 storyline, or not the New 52, the Future's End storyline, sorry. And I really enjoyed him in that. I did not know he had his own book. So when I saw he had his own book, I grabbed issue number 1 and pretty happy about it. So I just thought that was a cool cover and a cool little story. I also found I've been really intrigued by the Web of Spider-Man title lately, collecting them for my son. I myself like the covers. I like the art. But as I was going through their back issue box, I found Web of Spider-Man number 95, Spirits of Venom Part 1. And I thought that was just a cool cover. Of course, you have Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and Venom there hanging out in the back. And that was a good looking cover. And again, it's something I'll just put away for my son and let him have it whenever he has a great day or a rough day or what have you. And as I was looking, I found Web of Spider-Man number 96, Spirits of Venom Part 3. Again, and it's really, the art is so different. I don't know who did this cover, but I should look. Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, Venom, Spidey in the front. You've got a big skull in the background. I mean, that's just a beautiful, beautiful cover. Let's see if I get this a little closer without any glare there. It's just, I really like that cover. Apparently, Spirits of Venom Part 2 is in a Spirits of Vengeance title that they didn't have, so I'll go looking for it, and I will own it because I hate having just a couple parts of the story. Right. Moving on. This is a tag video. Daniel over at Nerdy Vision tagged me in one of his videos. He wanted me to tell him about my earliest memory of comics. And while I'm telling you that story, I'll just be throwing up some of my Bombshell covers up here to keep you guys occupied visually. There's one for Chaz and Starfire Bombshell. But my earliest memory of comics is really simple. It's very clear. When I was younger, when I was about 6 years old, my mother remarried to a real nice man in the Air Force. And, of course, he became my stepdad. And at the time, we were living in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And not too long after they got married, my dad was stationed to West Germany, to Capone Air Base in West Germany. So, of course, we all packed up and we went. We couldn't take a whole lot because we were going to be waiting for base housing, so we had to live in a small German apartment when we moved there. And that's what we did. So there I was, a 6-year-old boy living in a country where I didn't know the language. We really didn't have any friends. There was no family there at the time for us. You know, I mean, talk about starting over. I mean, it's rough when a kid moves, but when you move somewhere where nobody speaks the same language that you do, that's a lot tougher. And of course, you're always thinking, wow, these people are talking. Are they talking about me? Am I funny looking? Do they think I'm stupid? What's going on? And even when, you know, of course, I went to school on the military base. They had school set up for the American students. And even then, you go and, you know, these kids have known each other for a while. And, yeah, at least they speak your language. But, you know, they're used to a military lifestyle. I, of course, wasn't. There's my dream Bombshell right there. The one statue I don't have that I really want. The first Harley. Anyway, so these kids, you know, they'd known each other. You know, some of their parents had been stationed together for years, and I was the new kid, even, you know, on this American base where I could speak the language and stuff. It's still new. Everything's new, especially when you're young. It's new. It's scary. You don't have your toys. You don't have anything that's familiar. Your dad's working. Your mom's working. You get on a bus that goes off base and onto the German countryside, and you're afraid you're going to get to the wrong place. It was just a very frightening time in my life. Anyway, my parents once in a while would have to go to the BX, the base exchange. That's what you call the basically the the department store on an Air Force base is a BX. If you go onto an Army base, it's a PX. They call it a post exchange. Don't know why there's a difference, but I'll just throw that little trivia out there for you. Anyway, so we would go to the BX, and that's where you would buy clothes and soap and what have you. Of course, if you wanted to buy food, you went to the commissary, but the BX is where you went and bought your hard items. And attached to the BX, there was a little tiny store, and it was the base bookstore. And it would have, novels and paperback books and hardback books, and they also had comics. And my parents, sometimes they'd go to the BX, and I would just wander away, and I would go and just look at the comics. Because the heroes, even though I never really read comics before that, I was familiar with the heroes. Because you can't be a kid living in the United States and not be familiar with Superman. I used to watch the old George Reeves black and white reruns from time to time. Or Batman, because even then, they were already showing reruns of the 1966 series. Wonder Woman. These were figures I knew. These were characters I heard about, had talked to my friends about, had seen on TV, whatever. And so I would just go look at the comics. I mean, I would just stand there and I would thumb through a few, and nobody ever got all upset and tell me this isn't a library kid or anything. But anyway, my mom started noticing that, so she would just buy me a few. Back then comic books were 25, 35 cents. The great big thick ones like World's Finest, they were $1. So she'd buy me a few here and there, and I do have those to read. When I was done with my homework, when I was bored or lonely or whatever, I'd have my comic books. And it became a hobby. It became a collection. A lot of times when you're on a military, and then we ended up moving on to the military base. And even then, I had my friends, and I was a good student. I had good grades, but even then, there were down times, and I turned to my comics. Now, being on a military base where people are coming and going all the time, a lot of times families would be moving, and they would have comics. They would have, what they call yard sales or PCS sales, permanent change of station sales. So I'd go look, and they'd have comic books for a quarter or a dime or whatever, and I'd just come home with a bunch of comics. And I had a really great collection going on, and I was really proud of them. And it wasn't just that I was collecting them, because, of course, back then you're a kid, you don't think, oh, someday these could pay for me to go to college or pay for my kids to go to college. No, you just think those are fun, and those are nice to look at, and wow, how exciting. But anyway, so I had a huge comic book collection. I also had a lot of toys. Star Wars, so on. Superhero toys. Mego, I had lots of Mego figures. But, of course, one day, about 4.5 years later, my dad got his orders to come back to the United States. And when you're moving like that, the military only pays for so much to be shipped back to the United States. My parents had bought a couple of vehicles while we were in Germany. My mother had bought a brand new Volvo right from the dealership there in Germany. And my dad had a van, so on and so on. And, of course, my mother was a collector, just like me, but she bought a lot of furniture and statues. Well, the military only pays for so much weight to be shipped over. After that, anything over that limit comes out of their pocket, out of my parents' pocket. So they were making decisions on what was not going to be coming back with us. And my toys and my comic book collection is what got the cut. We didn't have a yard sale. At that point, we had my aunt and uncle. My uncle was in the Army, and they were stationed in Frankfurt, Germany. So we just handed over a lot of my stuff to them because they had 2 girls. They just had a little boy. So we just gave them a lot of my stuff. And, of course, when they came back, they had sold all my stuff. So whatever. Oh, look. Hey, same statue, same comic. There you go. Hadn't done that before. Here's the Bombshell with the comic. Maybe I'll do that from now on. So that, Daniel, over at Nerdy Vision, is my comic story, my first memory of comics. It's a good memory right up to the point where I left my collection behind. But, you know, it also explains a lot as to why they mean so much to me and why it means so much to me that they're important to my son. So I guess being it's a tag video, I should tag somebody else. So I'm going to tag Boston Chris over there at Buckshot 33, so he could tell us his earliest memory of comic books. And I'm going to tag Steven over at Trilogies Comic Corner. I'm going to tag you two guys and have the two of you tell us what is your earliest memory of comic books. Until then, hey, I'm less than 20 minutes. I didn't think I'd be able to pull that off. Until then, I am going to say thank you to all my subscribers. We're up to, I think, 93 at last count. Really looking forward to getting to 100. I don't know what I'm going to do, a giveaway, a contest, a big party, whatever. But again, I love doing this. I love showing you guys my collections. I love talking about different things. I'm going to be shooting some contest videos a little bit later on, but this one was fun. This one was for me and for you and for Nerdy Vision. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. If you're not a subscriber yet, please, I would love for you to become a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, thank you for continuing to tune in and watch my videos. I hope you enjoy what you see. And until my next video, everybody, I'm John. This is Golden Car Comics, and I am out of here.